Where would Staten Island be without the St. George Theater giving this quality entertainment to Staten Island, and not just entertainment, working with youth in the community. But you have challenges. I've been involved with a lot of boards on Staten Island, and I know nonprofit boards have challenges, nonprofits have challenges, and that's why we really wanted to do this today, to bring these people together who have experienced the challenges, who have met those challenges, and hopefully can give you some ideas to meet those challenges. So thank you all, thank you Tatiana for doing this. We totally appreciate it, and we're honored to be here.
Thank you very much, Brian. Appreciate that. Today's panelists are three of Staten Island's prominent women, and men and women who are lucky to have us. Oh, am I on the wrong one? I'm on the right page, right? I did the right page? This is what happens when we do it live. I'm not ashamed. I'll read everything wrong right now. We got three prominent speakers out here today. The first introduction is going to be Doreen Cunha. She's the president and the CEO of the St. George Theater Restoration, a nonprofit 501c organization dedicated to the restoration and the development as a cultural and performing arts center for Staten Island, New York City. The nonprofit was created in 2004 by the late Mrs. Rosemary Capozzalo, close, and her daughter Doreen P. Cunha and Luann Sorrentino to save the St. George Theater from being torn down. Doreen credits her A-team staff, the elected officials for supporting the restoration efforts, and a prominent board of directors led by Brian Leyline himself, advanced executive editor. Since its inception in 2004, Cunha has was responsible for developing the mission, overseeing the day-to-day operations, including budgets, programming, development, fundraising, maintenance, and the multi-million-dollar capital restoration projects funded by local, city, state, and the federal government. Doreen is most proud of the annual summer dance, theater, and literacy outreach program where 75 underprivileged children ages 9 to 18 are taught the world of dance and theater free, going strong for the past 20 years. She is also the artistic director of the Christmas show, enjoyed by 10,000 patrons annually. That's a lot to say. Round of applause for Miss Cunha. Great, make sure you have the right page, all right? Just make sure you have the right page.
Yes. Next up, we have Assemblyman Charles Fall, who is the New York State Assembly Assistant Majority Leader, proudly representing New York's 61st Assembly District and covering the North Shore of Staten Island, Lower Manhattan, and parts of Brooklyn. Assemblyman Fall is the first Muslim and African American Assembly member elected from Staten Island. And you can't miss him in the room. He's, he's very tall and he's very distinguished, and you know who he is. Coming from a working class family of 6, his parents immigrated to Staten Island from Guinea, West Africa. Assemblyman Fall earned his bachelor's degree from Southwestern College in Kansas and received a Master of Public Administration with honors from Pace University. Fall's legislative priorities include expanding resources for teachers, parents, and students to resolve academic disparities, creating affordable housing options, ensuring that individuals and families have sufficient health coverage and access to vital services, improving transportation infrastructure, among many other community concerns on the North Shore. In 2014, Assemblymember Fall served as the Staten Island Borough Director and citywide Islamic liaison for the mayor of New York City, working to ensure universal pre-K and paid sick leave become realities. And how many of us benefited that? So thank you. As the Chief of Staff to the Staten Island Parks and Recreation Commissioner, his mission was to enhance local greenery, to encourage community recreation, and create safer neighborhoods. Please welcome Assemblymember Fall.
And last but certainly not least, Dana Walker-Boyd is president of the Staten Island Community Alliance Corp., which recently hosted a successful 4th annual Juneteenth Freedom Festival at Snug Harbor Cultural Center. She holds board positions with organizations like the St. George Theater, Minority Women in Business Association of Staten Island, Community Health Action of Staten Island, Neighborhood Housing Services, and the Sisters of Charity Housing Development Corporation. Walker-Boyd's 30-year career began in the entertainment industry as a sought-after 90s hip-hop dancer, touring with LL Cool J, performing in 14 music videos, global festivals, movies, and soap operas. She's performed throughout Europe, Canada, and in 32 states across the nation. Walker-Boyd has worked in fashion production and management with brands like Donna Karan and Judith Lieber, At Mattel and Fisher-Price brands, she managed a $30 million sales portfolio. For the past 19 years, she has worked as an associate broker with Robert DeFalco Realty in residential and commercial real estate, rentals, new construction development sites, and investments. In 2023, she was named Executive Woman of the Year by the Staten Island Advanced Economic Development Corporation. Ladies and gentlemen, Dana Walker-Buller.
Thank you, Shane. Okay, let's get right into it. So we shall ask questions to our panelists, and maybe we can start with Doreen Cunho and then go that way. And if anybody would like to interject at any time, please feel free. We are all having our own mics today, so that's also very good. Okay, so Doreen, can you please tell us what advice you would give a nonprofit just starting out regarding building a board of directors?
So my suggestions would be to find board members that believe in your mission, that have the time and energy to give to your organization, that have resources that can add to your success. You want to make sure they have a good standing reputation in the community. I mean, the list goes on. You want to make sure that you're transparent with them in regard to the expectations from them. And most importantly, that they are engaged.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for giving me the opportunity to serve on this panelist and among two incredible women. And thank you, Gracelyn and Sean, or Shane, I should say.
No, listen, hey, it's fine. I'm 6'9" too, don't worry about it.
And so your question was what advice we would give to folks that are interested in starting a nonprofit. I think it's also helpful to look at organizations that individual or that entity's, like pretty much using an entity that's big time as an example, right, as a good starting point. And I think Doreen was spot on, but if you have a board of directors that's very diverse, I know that definitely does help in terms of the funding that you may want to receive from every level of government. And I think it's also helpful when you do make the case on the application, because when a nonprofit entity is serving folks in a given community, it's important to know obviously what the demographics are in that community and amplify and show that, hey, my board of directors and my staff is reflective of the community that we serve, which is what makes us a strong contender to receive X, Y, and Z grant. So I think that definitely does help with the government, and I also know it's helpful too for a number of corporations that have interest in ensuring that those nonprofits are connected to the community in that way, I would say.
Dana?
Hello, can you hear me? So I would like to add that, and echo, I agree with both Doreen and Charles have said, Assemblyman Charles. You definitely want to also, I always engage my sphere of influence, the people who I know, the people who I've known that have been in different capacities within the nonprofit or for-profit sector. And it's important to understand your strengths. You want to also have someone that aligns with your mission, different types of work that they do, whether it's marketing, finance. You want to have a skill set when you're developing your board. And that does begin with your sphere of influence, and it does resonate throughout the entire process of your board, government, governance, and all of the different roles that we have to play within the nonprofit organization.
You just mentioned aligning with a mission, and that's our next question here, which segues perfectly into it. What is the importance of having that mission statement for your direction?
Your mission statement is really your North Star. It's what you're using to guide your organization. It's what you've decided that this is our mission, this is what we're going to stand on. It's your vision, and it's really how you go about achieving your goals by always circling back to that vision and that mission. That mission is also very important to you when you are about to start seeking funding from different grants and resources, elected officials. You want to make sure that your mission, you can speak it clearly, and you're able to demonstrate and also get other organizations and elected officials and government and grants based on having a clear mission understanding of what it is that you plan to bring to the table and to your community through your vision?
It's interesting because sometimes, I have, folks that are asking for funding from the state, but the mission isn't too clear to them. And I respectfully ask, hey, maybe it's something you may want to consider making it very clear, short and sweet. Because, obviously in our community, we have various challenges, and the beauty of nonprofit organizations is sometimes, to help address those challenges, right? That's the unique role I see many of our nonprofits, that many of our nonprofits have on Staten Island. So I do agree with that, the mission statement has to be, it is the North Star, has to be incredibly clear. I also think too, many nonprofits have their goals, and they have their objectives on various objectives that they need to check off to accomplish that goal, to accomplish that mission, right? So for me, when I look at entities that are interested in doing community work, the mission does matter. It makes it crystal clear to me as an elected. Is this an organization that we really should consider supporting? And is their mission clear? So.
Excellent, Tori.
Both Dana and Charles mentioned clear, and that's exactly what I'm going to reiterate. Make sure it's clear to the point, that your vision and that the services you are providing are clear to the folks that are reading your mission. And not only the written mission, always have that 2-minute elevator pitch, so that when you're with funders or with a prospect, you can get right to the point as to what you do and the impact that you make. But being very clear is key.
That's excellent, and that segues into my next question about your 2-minute elevator pitch. When you're out in the community and you're networking, how important is it? I mean, we all know it's important. We're all out there supporting different organizations, meeting each other and working with each other, but how important is it to network, to have community engagement as the head of the St. George Theater and everybody else who has their own organizations?
It's essential. For our organization, for me, I feel it's so important to get out there and speak to people and get your finger on the pulse as to, for us, what the needs are out there in Staten Island, what people want to see from us. And I love collaborating. We collaborate with close to 100 not-for-profits to not really bring the best headline show. No, we're about education and